to talk about today, everybody. We're going to get into it because there's a lot happening. There's a lot of big discussion pieces. So now it's time, everybody, to get into it. All right. First thing I want to talk about is Blade Runner, because Blade Runner is coming back in the form of a series. Now, they were supposed to start before the strikes. They had some delays. They lost some directors, changed some things around. The strikes happened. We're coming back now. They're finally going to start shooting Blade Runner 2099, it's called. Now, it's a series that takes place after the events of the last movie, 2049. But it's decades later. It's in the same universe, and we're going to continue the story forward. Now, we have a whole different cast and crew here, whole different group of people now. At this point, I don't see anybody coming back. We're jumping decades. Maybe somehow Ryan Gosling's back. I don't know, but it's going to be a series, so maybe not. Interesting. I still think it's a cool world to actually dive into, what they've done from the original Harrison Ford one to the second one, which I know people kind of go back and forth about. But of course, the same director of Dune, and it was a beautiful looking movie too. And I see his directing style when I watch that movie, and I watch Dune side by side. It's fantastic. So hopefully they can take this world though and make it into a series. Maybe that's where it's meant to live forever. I really don't know, but I'm excited to see where they take this. Now, Jonathan Van Tulleken has been signed on. He's been tapped to direct the series for the first 2 episodes. Now, he was supposed to do it before the strikes, and then the strikes happened. He had said he couldn't do it because of, commitments, delays, all this, and now he's coming back again to take over because this has been delayed so long because, again, of the strikes. And that's kind of how it goes when we have these strikes like this happen. Again, IATSE might strike this summer. We'll be talking about that later some more, so we'll see how that goes. But I think it's a great idea. I love Blade Runner. I think that it could be a great concept moving forward as a series, and if they do it right, it could go multiple seasons, I think. Mike, what do you think about Blade Runner coming as a series? Does it make more sense than delving back into the theatrical world? Or do you think that they are, they have something here that's going to just be gold? Like, how do you feel about this?
I mean, Philip K. Dick has, he's got 1 million pages of written material, short stories and novels to draw from. So I don't think that you're stuck specifically with, the source material that Blade Runner was pulled directly from. I think that you've got a lot of similarly thematic elements and just kind of societal critique that they could draw from. It screams of kind of Westworld, doesn't it? Like, just in terms of a dystopian world, like dystopian sci-fi. It's never really about the future, or maybe our fears of the future a little bit, but really it's about the present and the things that we see in the moment. So for me, like, I would really like to see a narrative like this dystopian big thing that people are about this IP, making its way back to the mainstream, just as a vehicle for some kind of cultural critique to happen. And as you asked, like, about it being look at this shit, about it being about it being a TV show versus a movie, like. Yeah, like I don't know. Sean, did you play Cyberpunk at all?
Oh, did I play Cyberpunk
2077? Did you play the DLC too?
I did not. I'm saving the DLC for a rainy day. But that's on the list. But for now, yeah, no. Cyberpunk alone was just fantastic.
Hugely derivative of Blade Runner. Obviously.
Oh, you could see, you could click. I mean, there were direct Easter eggs in there where they were like, "Oh yeah, we really wanted this to like play and evoke the same emotions." Like there were story beats that just felt lifted from the original Blade Runner, let alone the sequel. It was amazing game, obviously, and I think you couldn't pull from better source material.
My point being that, like, you want to get in there and live in the world.
In that world.
It's supposed to feel lived in. Yeah, exactly. Like it is. We know how taxes are done here. We know what restaurants look like. I'm really hitting taxes. By the way, everybody, tax season is coming. Taxes.
Yes,
just
your taxes.
Hate to, whatever. But Blade Runner has it's a feeling, right? It's a story, notes. It's a visual style that
Los Angeles where you can't see the sky, right?
Yeah, right. Like it's when you're in it. and you know what's trying to evoke it. And I think doing it in a television series is a really nice way to see it. I'm a big fan of anthology shows. I've said this multiple times. I would love to see an anthology approach to this. Maybe you have one character throughout, but like all the settings and the stories and whatever, let them be self-contained. That's really, I think, how you get an audience and people can kind of hop in without having to watch a lot of stuff. Although that being said, like everyone's talking a whole bunch of love for True Detective Night Country right now. And having watched the first episode, I can understand why.
I've watched almost all of it, so it's pretty good.
I'm glad that this is finally coming back. I think these kind of stories and the focus, when done correctly, it just evokes the feelings of the original movie, and watching it and the pacing. It just allows. What I really liked about the first Blade Runner is it just lets it kind of speak for itself. The quiet, right? The stillness of Blade Runner.
It's all about atmosphere, yeah.
It's so atmospheric, and evoking that in a television show, that'd be great. I mean, you can't make everyone happy, so we'll see. I am not familiar with this director. Me either. I'll have to go watch Shogun now to understand his style.
Check it out.
But I honestly, if you do it right, I think Blade Runner is a property that's just rife for potential.
Do you think that any of these characters could come back from even the last movie or somehow? I mean, it's decades later. They have not said casting. I saw different comments out there. They have not announced any casting so far for this.
Sean Young was a replicant. You can always bring him back.
Sean Young will return whenever the hell she wants, right? I mean, turn them all into replicants, for fuck's sake. I don't know. That's my problem whenever new movies like this are kind of announced, or new uses of these franchises are announced, right? Because of course you have to cater to the audience that helped make the first thing what it was, and helped you kind of survive all these years of staying in the lexicon and the cultural zeitgeist and all that. But at the same time, you have to allow yourself not to be hamstrung to completed work, right? Their story has been told, and there was something beautiful that we used to allow with characters where we weren't sure where they were going to end up, and that was okay, right? We allowed the fact that it was open for interpretation, where the story ended or where the story continued after credits roll, right? And that was cool, but now we are very much of no, we want to see it. Fuck our own imagination.
Sean, there's an extended universe here waiting to happen.
Oh, there absolutely is. There's so much stuff, and this Blade Runner. I mean, the books, the comic book potential. There's so much here, just to kind of pull from and develop really interesting stories. I know that there was a very faithful adaptation of Philip K. Dick's do Electric Sheep, whatever, you know what I mean. Their Android's Dream of Electric Sheep. I got it. I knew there was a faithful adaptation of that that I have not been able to digest or consume as much as I want to. But I know that it's okay to be not deliver what everyone is going to expect. That's the problem too with franchises nowadays, right? Everything has to be lowest common denominator. Everything has to be. Should I get off the soapbox, or what are we doing?
No, you're good.
Great job.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you.
I the idea of Blade Runner comics in my head, because apparently there's a whole bunch of Blade Runner comics.
The director takes it.
Could they delve into that too?
They did with Shogun, and that was. Can't wait for that to come out.
Talk more about that, JR. Yeah, I didn't know anything about that.
How was Shogun overall as a movie?
If it's a third as good as the original was, I'm gonna love that, because what I've seen, it looks fabulous.
Right.
Yeah. You're excited about this director coming in to take a franchise like Blade Runner to fruition for a different network, right?
What I think is going to be interesting is basically it's 100 years since the original, that in the timeline that they're proposing.
Oh yeah.
How would society have changed in 100 years? If they explore that, then it might get real interesting.
Yeah, because
If
it
at
could
all,
be like
right?
a whole new world. It might not change at all, but or
might
it
not
might be
change
like a
at all.
whole different world.
That kind of speaks
But
to
look
like
at the difference in our society in the last 100 years.
Exactly.
I can't think of one difference, GR. I don't know. I think we do the
Of
same
course
thing.
not. Nothing's changed.
Not
at all.
one bit.
We're all
Nothing
cranking
at all.
up our
Nothing.
flying machines to get to work.
Personal
Flying into-
jetpacks aren't here yet.
Well,
Yeah,
what
what the
was
hell?
it? My dad said to me. He says, when his parents were born, we were horse and buggy, and now we're on the moon or beyond.
It's changed. Think about that kind of aspect. It has changed drastically, just drastically when you go that way. Even from like when we were kids till now, think about that too. We used to have the internet was like dial up, and before
Yeah, I
that,
remember
GR, you
those
didn't have
days.
internet, and it's like you go from that to like you have a computer in your pocket now every day. I remember being a kid, like I wish I could have like a computer with me at all times. I could watch TV everywhere. Now I can, so like there have been some drastic changes, but societally, I don't know, they're so advanced already in the Blade Runner world. I'm interested to see if how much they would actually advance or maybe go downhill even more. So it's cool. We have the comic idea. That could be a lot of fun, actually delve into that world and get deeper into that lore. And also the idea of like, where would society take us to show what kind of movie this would be moving forward, or series, I should say, moving forward.
This director could bring to it. Where is the society gone?
Yeah, it's cool.
We got to get
I think,
Charlie
a lot
Brooker
of the second movie just
from Black Mirror
go ahead.
involved.
Oh, that'd be
my
cool
God.
too.
That'd be a hell of a team up.
You get some Black Mirror stuff going on. I honestly, they're already kind of touching on that kind of high concept show as it is on Black Mirror, So I mean, honestly, it'd be great to have that. We'll see as they develop it more, but it is moving forward finally. And when I heard, I'm like, this is fucking cool. Like, let's do this. Let's do a Blade Runner series. Let's make this happen and let's have a great time, because I think people are going to definitely check this out. And it's going to be a hit wherever it lands.